I'm Kurt Murray, 52 years old, a former systems engineer who once believed a quiet life in Chicago was all I needed after my wife passed. In a family full of loud, decisive people, I've always been the one who stayed silent, the one who tried to keep the peace even when it cost me more than anyone ever knew. Maybe that's why they thought they could push me aside, why my own son drifted into someone else's shadow, and why my daughter-in-law decided I didn't belong in the house I built. I used to think my biggest flaw was not fighting back. Turns out, that was the thing they planned to use against me. Because on the day I came home and found all my belongings thrown into the yard like trash, I realized the truth had been stalking me much longer than I'd been avoiding it. And that was the moment I understood. Someone in my family wanted more than just my silence. The sky was bleeding orange behind the old L tracks when I pulled into my street. Leaves skated across the sidewalk. October in Chicago. It cuts deep, even before winter hits. My tires crunched over broken glass. I stopped. The lawn, my lawn, was covered in my life. My suits, soaked. A smashed photo frame with a picture of me and Lorraine from our honeymoon in Banff. Files. The box. The box. It was cracked open. A strip of gray foam padding dangled from its side. That box had never been opened, not since Lorraine died. The front door swung open. Brittany stood there with a paper cup in one hand and the other resting on her swollen stomach. She was wearing pink and smiling, like this was just another Wednesday. We decided to do some cleaning, she said, sweet as cyanide. All that old stuff was just taking up space. Whose idea? I said. My voice wasn't mine. It came out flat like I'd dropped it somewhere and was speaking through the echo. Dante's too. We thought you'd be okay with it. You're always so adaptable. Her smile tightened. I stepped past her. The house smelled different, like bleach and artificial lilac. The walls had been painted over. My chair was gone. The framed wedding photo, gone. I moved to the hallway. The door to my room was wide open, except it wasn't my room anymore. Pastel wallpaper, crib, plush clouds hanging from the ceiling. Baby's room. Brittany leaned on the doorframe behind me. It just made sense, Kurt. I mean, she's due in March. You understand, right? I didn't answer. She nodded at the stairs. We made a place for you. I followed. Down. Past the laundry room. Past the furnace. Utility closet. She opened it like she was showing off a master suite. It's small, but it's clean. We even got you a cot. There was no window. The cot was bent at the middle. The air smelled like old metal and detergent. A pipe above the bed dripped once. I turned around. Where's the box? She blinked. What box? The gray one. Metal, padded seal. Lorraine's initials. Oh, she said, then smiled like it was nothing. That thing. It's in the garage. Or maybe the shed. I can check tomorrow. I walked away. The air outside cut sharp across my face. I walked through the yard again, eyes sweeping for the box. Gone. I checked the garage. Locked. Shed. Empty. No box. I pulled out my phone, opened my email, then froze. Alert. Your digital signature was used at 2:34 p.m. today. No. Not possible. I hadn't authorized anything in weeks. My signature required biometric two-step from my old device. Lorraine set it up herself. It was unhackable. Supposedly. I opened my banking app. Access restricted. Account suspended. My heart started knocking harder. My breath came short. Someone had used my signature. Not guessed. Not faked. Used. A shadow flicked past the edge of the fence. I turned fast. Nothing there. Just trees. Still, the hairs on the back of my neck stayed up. I went back inside. My room. The closet had been rearranged. The cot had been moved half an inch. I hadn't even been gone 5 minutes. A folded slip of paper lay on the cot. No name. Just 6 words. You should have kept the box closed. Someone wasn't cleaning the house. They were cleaning me out. The cot creaked every time I shifted, and the pipe above me dripped like a clock with no mercy. I couldn't sleep. My body wouldn't let me. I kept thinking about that slip of paper. 6 words. You should have kept the box closed. The box wasn't just mine. It was Lorraine's. And whatever they were trying to erase wasn't sentimental. It was dangerous. At 4:19 a.m., I gave up on sleep. I sat up, reached for my phone. One missed call from an unknown number, no voicemail. My banking app was still locked. And when I tried to log into my encrypted email, it kicked me out again. 3 failed login attempts. From this device. No one else had my password, not even Lorraine. Cut to the hallway upstairs creaked. I stood, quiet, stepped barefoot toward the laundry room and grabbed the wrench off the shelf. Another creak, not the house settling, too deliberate. I climbed slowly, skipping the second step. It always groaned. The hallway was dark. The nursery door was cracked open just an inch. My heart hammered. Then came a whisper, not a voice. Fabric shifting. Someone breathing in the dark. I flipped the light switch. Nothing. Burnt out. I pushed the nursery door. Empty. The clouds over the crib swayed gently. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe someone wanted me to think that. Back downstairs. I fired off a message to the only person who might still believe me. To Elena Marquez. Subject urgent. Need to talk. Elena was Lorraine's old friend from college. Data analyst. Back then, they worked on digital storage compression, smart enough to get poached by a defense contractor, paranoid enough to never stop encrypting her own damn fridge. She'd know what KM01 was really for. I hit send and waited. Cut to Nedsides, 6:12 a.m. My phone rang. Private number. Mr. Murray, this is First National Security Division. We're calling to verify a wire request made from your account yesterday. I didn't make one. You authorized a $75,000 transfer to Calder Solutions, LLC. My stomach dropped. That's fraud. I never signed that. There was a pause. Then, we have a digital signature time-stamped and verified using your biometric file, facial scan, and encrypted key. Facial scan, I choked. From where? Internal IP originates from your residential address. They used my face. In my house. With my devices. I hung up. Something inside me snapped. I pulled on my coat, walked straight out the door. Cut to outside. Cold air. No sun yet. Just the hard blue of pre-dawn and the hollow hum of traffic 2 streets over. Someone was watching me. I didn't see them, but I felt them. Like eyes behind fogged glass. I cut across the lawn into the alley. A black sedan was parked half a block down. Tinted windows. Engine running. I kept walking. Fast. The car followed. I turned onto Monroe. It turned. Onto State. It turned. I ducked into an old 24-hour diner. Didn't look back. Ordered coffee I didn't want. Sat at the booth with the view of the door. Waited. 15 minutes later, a message buzzed. Elena. Come alone. No phones. Meet at the pier. 8. Don't be late. No punctuation. That wasn't like her. Cut to 7:59 a.m. The pier was empty. Gray water. Empty docks. One boat rocking gently in the breeze. Elena stood at the edge, hood up, smoking, hands shaking. You dragged me into this, she said, voice low. I told Lorraine it was too risky. You should have burned that drive. They want KM01. No. She looked around. They already have it. What they want now is silence. A beat. She flicked the cigarette into the water. You need to know something. There's a file on Lorraine's original laptop, encrypted inside the secondary partition. It's tagged, Truth If I Die. My breath caught. That laptop was taken after she passed. Brittany said she gave it to Edwin. Elena finished. Calder Solutions is his shell corp. I stepped back. You're telling me my daughter-in-law's father is laundering my wife's research? She didn't just design a better data system, Kurt, Elena said. She built a digital vault no one could break. Until now. Cut to a text from Dante, my son. Call me. We need to talk. Now. If Dante wasn't the one watching me, then who the hell was? I met Dante at a diner near Logan Square. Bright lights. Too bright. Like someone wanted to erase every shadow. He looked tired. Paler than I remembered. Same crooked collar he never fixed. He stirred his coffee, but never drank it. You talked to Elena, he said. Not a question. Yeah. He nodded slowly. Then I guess you know. No, I said. I know pieces. What I need is truth. Yours. He stared at the table. There's no such thing as truth, Dad. Just what survives the edit. Don't give me that corporate bullshit. You gave them her laptop. I didn't know what was on it. You knew enough to keep quiet. Silence. A mother dies. A son stands down. For what? A house he didn't buy? A life he didn't build? I didn't choose him, Dante said low, but he made sure Brittany did. Cut scene. Elena's name lit up on my screen. Elena. Found it. Meet me at my office. Bring nothing. I left without finishing my coffee. Dante didn't try to stop me. Cut to Elena's office. Third floor of a crumbling brick building off Damen. Smelled like cold paper and solder. She locked the door behind me, closed the blinds. This was hidden in a mirrored partition, she said, sliding over a flash drive. Took me 2 hours to decrypt. What is it? Video. Dated 2 weeks before Lorraine died. She hit play. Lorraine's face filled the screen. Pale. Sharp. Her eyes were different. Not scared. Resigned. They came back, she said. Edwin wants KM01, not because he believes in it, but because it makes me disappear. What I built proves he stole from the very project he shut down. Pause. She leaned closer to the camera. If something happens to me, don't let them bury what I made. KM01 isn't just a data vault. It's proof of everything. They'll want to erase you too, Kurt, but they'll start with your name. Elna hit stop. Neither of us spoke. Cut to a crash from the alley. We froze. Elena killed the lights. My pulse went supersonic. A shadow passed the blinds. Then another. Elena whispered, "Back exit." We moved fast, quiet, down the stairwell, into the night. At the bottom of the stairs, a paper had been slipped under the security door. Typed, "Clean. Stop or she's next." Lorraine was already gone. So who the hell was she? Back at the house, front lights off, porch light flickering. Brittany was home. The moment I walked in, I saw it. My tools were gone from the garage. The lockbox I kept buried under the crawlspace was open, empty. She stood in the kitchen pouring wine, in silk, calm, like nothing had happened. "Rough night?" she asked. I didn't answer. She smirked. "You should get some sleep. It's not good for your blood pressure." I stepped forward. "Where's the laptop, Britt?" Her eyes sharpened. "You're tired. Where is it?" "I don't have it." "Edwin does." She smiled, finally showing her teeth. "Everything falls apart eventually, Kurt. Files corrupt, memories fade, and people, especially people like you, vanish." I got close enough to see her mascara crack. "You can't erase someone who's already buried you," I said. "Lorraine built something you couldn't break, and now I have it." For the first time, her face cracked, just a flicker, but it was there. Cut to footsteps upstairs. Not Dante. He wasn't home. I turned. The hallway light above flickered once, then twice. Brittany stepped back, glass shaking in her hand. "You're not alone here, are you?" I said. No answer. I climbed the stairs fast. Hallway empty, but something was off. The bedroom door creaked. Inside, nothing. No one. But the window was open, cold air whipping in. On the bed, something lay folded. I picked it up. One of Lorraine's scarves. The blue one. Perfume still faint. That scarf was buried with her. Edwin wasn't just coming for my house. He was coming for me. The scarf slipped from my hand. Lorraine's scent, iris, cedar, something warm, hit me hard enough to stagger. She'd worn it 2 weeks before she died. I'd watched the casket close over it, but it was on my bed tonight. Someone had opened her grave without touching the soil. Cutscene. I stormed downstairs. Brittany was gone. The wine glass was overturned, a dark stain bleeding into the marble. A single heel lay tipped beside the island, like she'd run or been dragged or both. Silence pressed against the walls. My phone buzzed. Elena. "Come now. Don't wait." I grabbed my coat, shoved the scarf into my pocket, and left through the back. Too exposed through the front. Too many angles for eyes that didn't blink. The alley behind the house was wet. Trash cans overturned. A car idled at the far end. Lights off. I kept walking. Shoulders tight. Breath shallow. I didn't look back, but I could feel the car fall in behind me. Cut to Elena's building. She buzzed me up before I even pressed the call button. Her hand shook when she opened the door. Dark circles under her eyes. A half-burned candle flickering on the counter like a bad omen. "You weren't supposed to find that scarf," she whispered. "You knew it was missing." I knew Edwin kept trophies. My stomach turned. "Explain." "Now." She motioned me inside and locked the door. 3 deadbolts, a chain, a steel bar across the bottom. Elena, what the hell are you preparing for? A man who thinks removing evidence is the same as removing guilt, she said. People like him. Heirlooms don't matter. Truth does. And truth is the most dangerous currency there is. I sat. She slid a folder across the desk. Your wife didn't just work on KM01, she said. She built an authentication core that could invalidate asset transfers retroactively, property deeds, corporate ownership, stock blocks, anything tied to a digital ledger. I blinked. That's impossible. She shook her head. That's why they wanted her gone. A system that can prove fraud down to the keystroke. Someone like Edwin can't survive that. A shiver ran through me. She knew this would happen, I said. She left messages. She left warnings. Lorraine was smarter than both of us, Elena said. She used to say, power doesn't corrupt people. It reveals who's already cracked. I swallowed. Hard. She turned her monitor toward me. A tox report filled the screen. You ever wonder why the hospital refused your request for a second review? She asked. Here's why. This was the original scan, one you were never shown. A chemical compound circled in red. A slow-acting neurovascular drug, impossible to detect unless you knew what to test for. She'd been exposed for months, Elena said. Microdoses, not enough to kill instantly, but enough to weaken arteries, enough to mimic natural failure. My vision blurred around the edges. Are you saying Lorraine was... Not an accident, she whispered. Not even close. Cutscene. Glass shattered in the hallway. Elena jumped. I stood fast. Back entrance, she mouthed. We moved. Something slammed into the front door, rattling the hinges. Another hit. A third, harder. Who else knows you found the tox report? I whispered. No one. Lie. I heard it in the tightness of her breath. A small truth hidden behind a larger fear. Elena, who did you tell? Her voice cracked. Your son. Everything inside me stilled. What? I thought he deserved to know. I thought maybe he'd protect you. Another crash. The door frame splintered. Elena pulled me toward the window fire escape. Move. We climbed down metal rungs slick with frost. The alley below was empty. For now. We hit the ground and ran. Halfway down the block, she gasped. I didn't give Dante everything, just enough to scare him. Scare him into what? Choosing a side. Cutscene. A streetlight fizzled overhead. Shadows stretched long across the pavement. We slowed near the curb. Elena held her knees, panting. You okay? I asked. I'm not built for running, she said, trying to smile. I analyzed data. I don't... Flee assassins. Edwin sent them. He wants KM01 erased, and he doesn't trust Brittany to finish what she started. My pulse thundered. Where's the rest of Lorraine's files? I said. If you decrypted the video partition, there had to be more. Elena looked at me. Her notes weren't digital, she said. They were handwritten, and she hid them where no one would think to look. Where? In your house. The cold wind hit harder. You're telling me I've been walking past the one thing he wants? I'm telling you, he knows exactly where it is. A car engine revved behind us. High beams exploded across the street. A black SUV barreled toward us, fast. Run! We sprinted. My lungs tore open. Elena stumbled, but I grabbed her arm and hauled her forward. The SUV skidded across wet asphalt, tires screaming, missing us by inches. It reversed. Hard. They're not trying to scare us, I said. They're trying to end this now. Elena pulled something from her pocket, a small metal fob. This is all I could grab before they broke in, she said. It's the access key to the encrypted archive on her laptop. My heart slammed against my ribs. Does Edwin know you have it? He will in about 30 seconds. The SUV screeched around the corner again. No time. I pulled Elena into an alley and pressed us behind a dumpster. My breath shook. Her hand clutched the fob like a lifeline. Kurt, she whispered, you need to understand something. What? Lorraine didn't hide KM01 because she was scared. She hid it. Because she knew you'd be the only one left standing when the truth came due. The SUV engine rumbled closer. My phone vibrated. A new message. Unknown number. You took something of mine. I'm coming to take something of yours. He didn't just take my work. He took her. It took me 15 seconds to decide. 15 seconds between running and fighting. I chose the second. We ditched the alley. Elena handed me the metal fob, pressed into my palm like a final confession. Her eyes said the rest. Don't waste this. I called a rideshare to the Loop, used a prepaid burner. 30 minutes later, I stood in front of Calder Corp's executive tower, 22 floors of steel, glass, and rot. You don't break into a fortress, Lorraine used to say. You walk in like you belong. I did. Security badge, fake. Elevator override, Elena's code. Floor 17, executive storage. Cutscene. The hallway was empty, fluorescents buzzing above. A single red exit light flickering. I reached the archive vault, electronic keypad, retina scanner. I pulled out Lorraine's old access token, the same one Brittany claimed had been lost in the move. Click. Door slid open. Inside, cold air, humming servers, climate-sealed boxes. I moved fast. Row C, locker 6. Laptop, Lorraine's ThinkPad. Her name etched in silver. Her code, KM001. I shoved it into my bag. Footsteps, slow. Approaching. I ducked behind a pillar. Voices, 2 men, talking quiet. He said it's been removed. Then why's the trigger not active? Boss wants full wipe, no trail. I slid toward the exit, hugging the shadows. Made it out. Elevator pinged, doors opened. I stepped in and came face to face with Brittany. She wasn't surprised. She was ready. Her hand hovered near her purse. I knew that look. You made this worse, she said. You made this personal. It was always personal, Kurt. Elevator doors slid shut behind her. Just us 10 floors, 9. She reached into her purse. I moved faster, pinned her wrist, pushed her back. The bag dropped. No weapon, just a phone flashing live record. You were filming me. I snapped. Proof you broke in, she hissed. You're not the one who'll need proof. Floor 1. Doors opened. I bolted. Cutscene! Back home. Night had swallowed the house whole. I turned off the streetlights from the breaker box, went through the crawl space, pulled up the panel under Lorraine's side of the bed. There it was. Her journal, black leather, no title, just an elastic strap and a single gold star sticker. Our inside joke. Inside, pages of sketches, formulas, emotional outbursts. Truth isn't in the data. It's in the motive. Every entry mapped her discovery, her fear, her plan. KM001 wasn't just a vault. It was a trapdoor, a kill switch, activated only with the laptop plus fob plus handwritten cipher. Whoever triggered it could expose every fake ledger linked to Calder's shell companies. Property, patents, transfers. Edwin hadn't stolen her tech. He'd buried a landmine beneath his empire and didn't know it. Cut 2. Phone buzzed. Dante. I picked up. You have it, he said quietly. I have her. Truth, I replied. Long pause. You're not safe, Dad. No one is when truth gets expensive. You need to move. Now. They're coming. Where are you? Not with them. A beat. You were never supposed to find the scarf. My throat locked. You planted it? I had to scare you into action. You manipulated me. I protected you. Silence. Then, I backed up the drive, he said. Copied the files before Brittany got to it. I knew she'd delete them. A beat. They're on a burner. Safe house. South side. Near Bridgeport. Meet me there. Tomorrow. Click. Cutscene. Midnight. I stood on the bridge over the Chicago River. Laptop bag slung over my shoulder. Lorraine's journal tucked inside my coat. Wind biting. City lights flickering like lies dressed in gold. I pulled out my phone. One message. Unknown number. You run out of things to protect. You stop being dangerous. Time to test that. Tomorrow, I take back everything they stole, starting with her name. The safe house was colder than I remembered. Concrete floor, metal table, one flickering light bulb swinging from a wire like a metronome counting down. Southside silence outside, but inside, everything screamed. I placed the journal, laptop, and USB on the table. Then I waited. Dante entered first. No words. Just a hard look, a deeper guilt. I saw Lorraine's features in his eyes for the first time. Behind him, Elena. Hood up. Silent. And then, Edwin. Hands in his pockets. Calm. Like we were meeting for coffee. He pulled out a chair. Sat. So, this is the show? No, I said. This is the confession. I opened the laptop. entered the KM-Warsaw1 key. A wall of encrypted files flooded the screen. Lorraine's internal research, patents she'd been forced to relinquish, asset trails that looped into shell companies, one of which was tied directly to Edwin's private trust. "You think the world gives a damn about a dead woman's rantings?" Edwin laughed. "Not just the world," I replied. "The Federal Securities Division, the FTC, and the Board of Calder Corp. They've already been sent the files." He stiffened. I continued. "You can't bribe Data. You can't unwrite her code." Dante pulled out his phone, showed Edwin the live timestamp on an email sent to 3 national outlets, every file attached. "You son of a—" "I was your scapegoat," I snapped. "Your cleanup man, your family disgrace, but you forgot something." "What?" "That the quiet ones are the ones who see everything." Cut scene. 30 minutes later, sirens outside. Elena had tipped them. FBI, SEC, State Police. Edwin tried to run, didn't make it past the back stairwell. The last thing I saw before the agents tackled him was the pure, blinding rage on Brittany's face, streaming from a parked SUV, watching it all fall apart. Cut to 1 week later. I sat at Lorraine's grave. Fresh snow kissed the stone. There was peace here. Stillness. I thought I was too late, I said to the air. But maybe it had to break to finally be seen. Behind me, Dante approached quietly, sat beside me. He handed me a letter, sealed in Lorraine's handwriting. I opened it. Not a will, not a farewell, just one line. "The truth doesn't keep you safe. It makes you dangerous. Use it well." I looked at my son. For once, no defenses between us. "You've still got the house," he said. "Court upheld your rights. Brittany's motion failed." I nodded. "I don't care about the house. What do you care about now?" I smiled. Not being the ghost anymore. Cut scene. I returned to the front porch of my home. Mine again, truly. Inside, dust had settled, but something else had taken root. Silence, without shame. I set Lorraine's journal on the mantel. The fire crackled. Sometimes people spend their whole lives trying to be heard. Sometimes they only need to say one thing loud enough for the world to listen. Sometimes they only need one person willing to act. This was never about revenge. It was about reclamation. My name, my wife's truth, my son's second chance, and the reminder that family is not who shares your blood, but who doesn't bleed you dry. I closed the door behind me. The cold locked outside. For the first time in years, the house felt warm. And this time, no one was throwing anything out.